Howdy ho, this is your Uncle Staff Man coming to you live from the underbelly. Greetings and salutations. I'm hoping that everyone had a good Labor Day week. I took last week off to kind of unwind, and it's Labor Day, so I didn't want to work on that day. So there you go. But outside of that, I hope everyone had a good holiday, and now we're back in business. Kids are back in school. School buses are riding down the street, and the hustle and bustle of the school life and getting our kids to and from school is upon us. And before you know it, we'll be right back into the holidays. You'll have Halloween, and then boom, Thanksgiving. All that fun stuff will be coming up, and before you know it, we'll be back in summer. But before I get ahead of myself, I want to welcome you all back to the podcast. So my cat died, so I started another podcast hosted by me, Uncle Staff Man, and we are out here in the underbelly. We took a different approach. We are actually outside of the underbelly. We are sitting here in the garage. And I figured, hey, let's do it this way. It gives me some fresh air. I got the garage door open, and I'm just sitting out here enjoying the cool breeze. So, I figured we would talk, about, the reasons why. And what I'm saying is with that is the reasons why you matter. And I think that it's important to address these things because sometimes it's nice to have an outside perspective from someone else. And I would say that it's very important for you to know that you do matter to somebody somewhere. So I would definitely keep that in mind before, you think that you don't matter. And sometimes our minds can play tricks on us and have us thinking that, hey, I'd be better off not being in this person's life, or I'd be better off not being around. And that's not true. Don't do that. Let cooler heads prevail because you do matter. You matter to someone in your family. You matter to your spouse. You matter to your kids. You matter to your friends. And take this opportunity to reach out to those people and let them know how you feeling. Because if you don't let somebody know, you got to remember, we live in a world that do not have mind readers. No matter how many times people want to say they have the psychic ability, that ain't true. So, let people know how you're feeling. Let them know what's going on in your life. Because when you do that, yes, it may make you vulnerable, but it allows them a chance to be able to help you and let you feel that you are loved, because you are. I know for me, I had a wake up call prior to Labor Day where, I go to therapy. I'm a strong proponent of therapy. When you need to talk to somebody, it's okay to go talk to somebody. There's nothing wrong with that. It does not show weakness. It just shows that you're willing to get the help you need to get yourself right on track. And I think that's very important. So, I was in therapy, and when we were discussing what we were discussing, one of the things that I found is I depend more on therapy than I do on the people in my life. And I think that's unfair to them because I'm not giving them an opportunity to know what's going on because I'm afraid of how I'll be portrayed. And I know that sometimes there's very toxic traits when you're talking about how you feel and how things make you feel. And there's nothing toxic about that, my friend. I can assure you that. It's all right to let people know that, hey, I have something going on. I'm not fully well, but I'm working on it. And that's a start. I know for me, after having that conversation with my therapist, I reached out to those in my life that I care about, that are in my circle. And I told them, I said, hey, I love you guys. I have a lot going on with me. And, if you have something going on, let's talk about it. Let's hash these things out. Let's try to work on it because, no man is an island, a peninsula maybe, but you ain't no island. So, just try and be open with those. And I know it can be hard. It can be very hard to want to discuss the things that are going on in your life with other people because you're so afraid of how they might see you. I'm guilty of that. I'm very guilty of that. I'm very guilty of thinking, oh my God, what are people going to think about me if I say this out loud? But sometimes you got to say to hell with it and lay all your chips out there. And if they don't accept you, then they weren't meant to be in your life to begin with, and you need to mosey on somewhere else. The people who love you will love you no matter what. They will love you because you are you, not because you're faking the funk. The people who don't love you will sit there and they will hide that from you. They won't tell you the truth. They'll just sit there and let you spiral out of control. But the people who do love you, they're going to be there. They're going to give you the words of wisdom that you need. They're going to give you the guidance that you need. And that's something that we all desperately need. Don't be in a group of people who you can't go to when you need to cry or when trouble starts to brew. Be able to get out those feelings without having to feel any kind of stress about that. Stormy weather always comes, but it's a lot better when you're with somebody who can help you watch the clouds roll in and roll past you. That's very important. I would also stress that it's very important to know that there are places to call when you need help. There's a suicide hotline, there's the veteran hotline for vets who need help. And there are a lot of resources. Take advantage of those because there are people standing by on the phone that are willing to listen. And they can help you and talk you off the edge. I myself have had to use these lines sometimes to kind of get myself off the edge. It's very important to have resources available when you are feeling at your worst. I would also say that trying to find a couple things to do that'll help you feel better is also a plus. I like to go on walks. When I feel stressed, I'll go on walks and I will, go and stretch my legs and, just breathe in, breathe out. Because it's very important to have all kinds of tools in your belt that will get you through. You got to have those things because regardless of what you think about yourself, somebody somewhere loves you. And I hope you know that. And I'm going to keep stressing that in today's episode because somebody somewhere needs to hear this. They need to know that, hey, you are loved no matter what the world is doing to you. Somebody out there cares about you and wants you to know that. So if this episode doesn't do anything, know that that's the reason why you're here. Your reason for being here on this earth is because you matter to someone somewhere. You're going to impact them. You're going to give them some reason for them to exist because you are there. Keep that in mind. I know that for me, when I feel down on myself, I think about my son. And I think about how his life would be if I wasn't there. And that kind of snaps me out of, having those selfish thoughts about, not feeling my best. Because, my son is my number one fan and I'm his number one fan. And I try to be there for him, his mom, my family, our family. I want to let them know that I'm here for them. And sometimes I'm not always at 110%. And that's okay. Sometimes you're not going to operate at your best. But the goal of the game is just to be able to make it one more day. If you can make it one more day, you can make it 2 more days. If you make it 2 more days, you can keep on trucking. As Dory once said, just keep swimming. Just keep swimming. That's all you got to do. And when you get tired of swimming, keep swimming some more. Just keep on going forward. I find that it's very easy to quit, but it's harder to keep going. And that's a part of life. It's always tougher to keep going. You know, you have to. Like, if you ever see a salmon migration and when they're swimming up the waterfall, like they're jumping up, they're trumping up because they're heading to their mating ground. If you ever seen a salmon migration, it's a magnificent thing to behold because they're going upstream against the current and they're trying to make it back to their mating grounds so that they can spawn the next group of salmon. I learned that from the Magic School Bus. So shout out if you've seen that episode. But yeah, you know, you always want to try and go against the current. The current is trying to push you in the way of saying, oh, no one cares, no one loves you, no one cares about you. That's baloney. When you go against the current, you're proving that you do matter. You are loved. Someone is thinking about you. Just keep those things in your head. Keep doing that, and I promise you, it will be okay. Now, I'm not saying that it's going to be the end all, be all, because you do need to have assistance with other people. You know, you cannot do things on your own. I mean, there are some things you can do, but it's good to have a social group, a club, some sort of interaction with other people so that they can help you through these times. It's just important to have that. You know, someone who will be your cheerleader no matter what and let you know, like, hey, I'm going to support you when you're down in the dirt and when you're up on cloud 9. You always want to have those people around. And I have found that, you know, by reaching out to people in my life that I knew and I know, getting those words of encouragement from them has helped to re-energize me. And that has helped me to, you know, really get through some things. You know, sometimes, not even just sometimes, all the time, I can find that the thoughts in my head are telling me, you know, negative things. You know, we can be our own worst self-critic, which in turn can lead to being our detriment. But you got to drown out those voices. You have to, you know, be it through fitness, be it through music, find something to help drown out the noise in your head, because being your own worst critic can be the death of you. That's for damn sure. It can definitely kill your vibe. So you got to get out of your own head and try to move forward as best you can through any facet, reading, you know, going running, you know, anything. Try to find something. You know, if you have a pet, you know, like I have 4 pets, 5 actually. And I find that, you know, having my dog near me, one of my dogs near me, and, you know, having to pet her and, you know, her loving on me, it really helps get me out of the funk that I'm in sometimes. And that it's really helpful. I don't know what it is about being able to pet an animal, but it just helps to make you feel a whole lot better. I once heard somebody say, let me be everything my dog think I am. And that is so true. Because when you come home, your dog doesn't know anything about you that you don't know about yourself. And even if he or she does, they won't go tell anybody. You know, you can go pet them. They love you no matter what. When that tail starts wagging and they start panting, they are so excited to see you. That's the kind of joy you should remember when you're out and about, that, hey, my pet loves me, you know, and that's what pets are here for. They're loyal companions to help provide comfort for us in time of need. And all they want in return is some scratches, some belly rubs, and a bowl of food every once in a while, and some water. That's all they want. But they give you that love, and I mean, they pour it on you no matter what. And, I'm sometimes, not sometimes, but all the time, I'm very thankful for my pets because, each one does something different for me. And each one helps me to, kind of cope with what I'm dealing with on a daily basis. And I'm very happy about that because if you can't reach a friend because they might be busy with their own life, go walk your dog, go talk to your dog. Your dog will listen and they will not judge you. Your cat will listen and won't judge you. Now, your cat might give you the stink eye, but I guarantee you that your cat is going to be there and say, hey, I love you no matter what, but look at me. Cats tend to be a little more pretentious than dogs are. That's just in my opinion. But yeah, try to find yourself a coping mechanism that helps to explain your reason for being here, because you got to know that you do matter. You got to know that somebody somewhere loves you. And think about this. This world is big. It is massive. And we're all under the same sky. So when you're out at night and you're looking up at the stars or at the moon and you feel like you're alone, when you're looking up, just remember somebody in the world somewhere is looking up at that same sky and might be thinking about you. They may not know who you are, but they're thinking about somebody like you. And that's something that definitely will keep you going when you look at that. I also find that doing something for others will definitely help you feel better. Like I volunteer at my son's school and I work with some of his classmates for a podcast club. I feel that my love for podcasting and the audio medium is very important. So I find that to be an opportunity to go and teach other kids how to do the same thing and talk about their passions, what they enjoy. Because when I leave this earth, when I shuffle off this mortal coil, I want to be able to say that, hey, at least I passed on my love for podcasting to other kids who may or may not use it, but they have the skills if they want to, and they can pass it on to whoever they know. I want to be impactful before I leave, and I hope I am. I really do. I really hope I'm impactful. But, you just have to take it one day at a time. So this is going to be a short one today, but I just want you to know I love you guys. For those who are listening, know I support you. If you have any questions for me, hit me up at radiostaffman@gmail.com. I'm here for you. And one more announcement. So I got some feedback from some people, and, they would like if I have other people on to talk about how they cope and the things that they deal with. And I'm going to open that up later on as we keep going with these episodes, because I do want to talk to other people about their coping mechanisms and, maybe bounce some ideas off of them and they bounce some ideas off of me, because we're all in this together. So I think I'm going to do that. It'll be vets, civilians, anybody who is dealing with anything, who wants to talk about how they cope. If you are interested in something like that, please feel free to email me at radiostaffman@gmail.com. I would love to sit down and talk with you. We'll figure out the logistics and everything like that, but I would love to have a conversation with you so you know that you aren't alone and I'm not alone. So with that being said, I hope you enjoy this episode. I hope you have a good week, and I'll catch you on the flip or the flop, whichever you prefer.